Margaret Baranowski and her family are long-term members of St. Christopher's. Today, she shares about prayer and how it transforms her life.
At the start of the day, before I even get out of bed, I think about what I would like to accomplish out of that day. What challenges am I going to be facing? And saying a prayer settles me. I belong to Daughters of the King, and that's an order here that's at St. Christopher's that's dedicated to a life of prayer and service. Our president, Sue Blaze, has shared a prayer with us that I felt summarized this, how you're going to tackle the day. And it's very simple. It's, thank you, O God, for the gift of this day. Help us to appreciate its blessing, to rise to its challenges, and to live with it fully with you. As my day unfolds, a need or a situation often inspires me to pray. It could be for myself, for my family, for friends. It could be a prayer request that I receive. It could be something that is happening in the community or that's happening to our nation. And depending on the situation, my prayer response might be in a text or in a phone call or in an email to a friend. I might feel like I need to take a moment to write a message to that person in a card. Usually, though, it's a private conversation, and it's a conversation that I have with God. And that's usually the form of prayer that I take. It's very informal. Sometimes it's silent, and sometimes it's spoken aloud. I could be anywhere when I'm praying. I could be in bed, I could be in the shower, I could be in my car. It really doesn't matter. Just like Kara said, God meets us wherever we are. I often say, God, you know my heart. You know before I even ask. So that makes it easier to share what's on my mind, praying organically, if you will. When I speak to God, it comforts me. I know I'm not alone and that God is with me. Prayers don't always get answered the way that we think they will or when they will, but eventually that answer comes. Another prayer that I raise up to God is to watch over my loved ones when I know that they've got a concern on their hearts, to give them strength during a difficult time and to guide their decisions. And I'll often pray for their safety or their happiness. Sometimes I will even set an alarm on my phone so that I am with my loved one in the moment so that I can be praying for them right at that time. That gives me a greater sense of connection through prayer. Another type of prayer that I really enjoy saying is a prayer of thanksgiving when things are going great, when a prayer's been answered. But not just a prayer being answered, but even in the small moments of the day is a moment to rejoice, whether it's a gorgeous sunset or, breeze blowing through your hair on a summer day, or just being mindful of how fortunate I am. Those are also moments deserving of praise. You can't always turn to God with problems. It's important to thank God too. And then, of course, during our worship service, when we come together as a congregation to pray, there's a lot of power in that. I enjoy singing hymns of praise as another form of prayer. It's a beautiful way to worship God. As a child, I remember praying before meals and, of course, at bedtime, and it was, now I lay me down to sleep. I would say as I got older, closer to teenage years, into college, it was more simply the Lord's Prayer and the Lord is my shepherd. But as I've gotten older and life happens, those experiences have broadened my prayer life in moments where I need to pray. Well, with each new chapter of my life, I have more things to pray about. So marriage, daughters, family, friendships, your job, the new business that my husband and I started almost 2 years ago. So the older I get, the more I pray. The feeling I get when I pray, of a feeling that God has heard me, or that I'm in connection with God or communion with God, is just more of a sense of peace, of feeling still. It's just a calmness that I get. It helps me to regroup and move on. If there's a time where I'm wondering if God's hearing me, does He understand the need, I have to trust that He has heard me in the past, that when I've needed Him, He's come through eventually, and so I know He will again. So I just have to be patient. Prayer is the answer when you have none. The soul searching that prayer provides has made me a better person. I can look into myself and where am I weak, where can I improve, and pray on those things. When I fall down in the moment, I take the time to reflect on it. I'm a work in progress, and the prayer is always there to call upon. And prayer is really a wonderful expression of love and a way to connect with people. The most important thing to remember about prayer is just to do it, just to have that conversation. It doesn't have to be fancy, and it's in the moment, it's what you have on your heart. You don't have to be perfect when you're saying a prayer, because it's just between you and God. No one else is listening except God, and He wants to know what you have on your heart. So you can be raw and real, mad, happy, whatever that emotion you're feeling, whatever's compelled you to take a moment to stop and share it with God, and trust that He hears you, He loves you, and He only wants the best for you. And keep coming back if you don't get the answer. And trust that when that answer comes, it might not be what you expected, but you will learn from the experience. That there's a gift in the answer that you receive. It might take some time to appreciate it, but it's a gift.